seat taken?
Nobody's in the seat that I ain't taking, son.
So this is Sabacc?
Sabacc.
Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to Sabacc the Block. This is the official First Cut Star Wars show. We are here to break down all the movie news inside the Star Wars universe. I'm here with RB3 once again. RB3, how you feeling, man?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. We are good. Levels are good. Let me know how we looking, people. How we feeling? Everybody watching, thanks for tapping in. I know it took a little bit of a minute to get started, but we had to overcome some technical difficulties. Everything looks good. All right. Hey, I'm happy.
Yeah, we did it, man. We made it.
But we made it further than a lot of these Star Wars movie pitches made it. So that's how it goes.
Honestly, man, at this point, let's just get right to it, man. Let's start off with the Star Wars news of the day, man.
Still getting my buttons together. And don't worry, y'all. We are upgrading the show. You can see graphics are slightly better. You can see things are getting good. There will be on-screen graphics. Things are low and it's taking time. But Star Wars, we here.
I heard a story about you. I was wondering if it's true.
Now, to kick off our show, obviously, we got to talk about the bomb of all bombs, the news that hit this week that got Star Wars Twitter in a tizzy and got my sequel fans in a tizzy. Shout out to all my sequel fans. The news that Adam Driver himself went to work on a Ben Solo script along with Steven Soderbergh attached as the director of a post Rise of Skywalker Ben Solo centered movie. This was apparently pitched to Lucasfilm itself. That means Kathleen Kennedy. They approved it, they liked it, and then they pitched it to Disney, which is Bob Iger himself, and they shot it down. And the reason that Adam said they shot it down was because they just didn't get it, how Ben Solo survived after the Rise of Skywalker. This hit Star Wars Twitter, man. Everything went up in a storm. All fronts are uniting, holding hands. We hear RB3. What was your reaction to this news and how are you feeling about it now?
I mean, look, man. I mean, goshly, it's for one, you're telling me that Adam Driver, despite, I might have called him pancake nipples in the past, like, for how he had his shirt off in Last Jedi and stuff, jokingly, but in all seriousness, he is by far and away, I feel like, the best actor that was in the new trilogy. He killed it. He rocked it. All three of them. I mean, Daisy Ridley was great too. I mean, all of them were great. But in terms of like performance wise, he really brought it, and he had the most to bring to it because of being the villain character and having this, rotted backstory of being Ben Solo and being trained by Luke Skywalker and all this stuff. And I felt like there's so many aspects of that story that was unexplored that could have been so amazing. Like, we could have seen more of the Knights of Ren. We could have seen more of like that training, leaving that training ground with Luke, and after Luke, almost, basically tried to kill him, that we saw in Last Jedi. Like, I would love to see that psychological torture. It could almost be like a Godfather 2 situation. Like even though, the main Corleone, he died in Godfather Part 1. In Godfather Part 2, it's about his life as a young man while also tracking the life of his son, who's Robert De Niro, whatever. He's tracking the life of his son, Al Pacino, whatever. So, long story short, you could do a sequel to a movie with a dead character in a very clever way. We've seen that with Godfather 2. We've seen that Finding Dory. Like, there's fun ways you could do it, and this would have been dope, I felt like.
Yeah, I like how Godfather 2 and Finding Dory are in the same category. Shout out Finding Dory. I'm with you on that, but I think you nailed it when you said the top one, right? The top thing is this is Adam Driver. Like, this is Adam Driver wanting this movie. How many times has Star Wars gone up and knocked on the doors of actors who don't want to be like, think about how many times they've knocked on Harrison Ford's door, and how reluctant he was to even do not Rise of Skywalker, Force Awakens. And then they paid him like $1 bajillion, and finally he said yes.
Yeah.
But that's my thing. My thing is like, if an actor is so passionate about a character and clearly motivated by the script and worked his way to ask his Hollywood friends and buddies, and a director at the caliber of a Steven Soderbergh also wanting to attach himself to the sequel trilogy and to the Star Wars universe in general, that those two things are enough for me to even greenlight it. Like, that's enough for me to greenlight it right there. But then you add on top of it that it's apparently a really good script based on what he feels and what he's read before. And Steven Soderbergh has a pretty good track record as well. That adds to the L that Disney just took on this, man. That's the biggest L I've seen in a minute, the biggest public L. And they take a lot of L's recently. That's a big L, man. That's a big L. And what's aggravating about it, and shout out to Alex Damon, who posted a video about this on his channel, Star Wars Explained. But he said it exactly how I would say, how I was telling you last week, that Disney is just so scared. They're just so reactionary. They're just like, oh, the kids don't like the sequel trilogy, the Twitter bros. And it's just like, bro, who cares? Clearly they do, because they were tweeting about it the other day. You're reacting to such random ass internet trolls, and you read that and you think that's vast majority of audiences, when in reality it's like, no, vast majority of audiences, regardless of what they thought of the sequel trilogy, thought Kylo was cool. They thought Kylo Ren was cool.
Yeah.
They thought Rey was cool. Yeah. And they really F with I won't say it, but they F with Kylo and Rey. And these characters are
I didn't like that, but yeah, most of the world did, of course.
What?
I didn't rock with the Kylo Ren, the Reylo. I wasn't rocking with that.
No. I'm saying the characters. Like, most people like these characters.
Oh yeah, the characters. Yeah, I wasn't messing with their romance, but yeah, the characters, I love it.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like, not everyone's into the romance stuff, but they like these characters individually. Like, they can agree that these were the best parts of the movies, regardless of what they think of the movies. So that right there is enough for you to sell a movie that's going to get traction. It's going to get audiences there. So again, it's so frustrating because I feel like the reactionariness of Disney is just so limiting, and it's so narrow-minded, and it's so just scared. I don't know, man. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just a really silly reaction to having someone at the caliber of Adam Driver wanting to make this movie.
Yeah, it's the caliber of Adam Driver, like you said, really, to me, the caliber of Steven Soderbergh. I mean, he's not some slouch. I mean, he's a veteran A-list director. I mean, it's tough in this day, to be an A-list director when you're, avoiding IP and superhero and, big budget stuff. He doesn't really do a lot of those kind of films. But, you go back to early 90s, one of the quintessential independent films, Sex, Lies, and Videotapes, was, very revolutionary for independent cinema. And then we're talking, when he gets into 2000s, the only guy to be nominated 2 times for Best Director in the same year, when it was for Traffic and for Aaron Brockovich. So, and he won for Traffic. Both of those movies are great too, by the way. Directed the Oceans trilogy, Oceans 11, Oceans 12, Oceans 13. So experience working with big stars like Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Don Cheadle. So obviously, like, this guy is a very decorated, Oscar-winning, repertoire kind of director. I'm just befuddled that they passed on that. And that's also to say, like, it's not like his movies are also just like these art house kind of weird ones. Like, he directed Magic Mike. Like he also directed Magic Mike. He directed, like I said, the Oceans films. So this guy has a very commercial aesthetic that could pretty much fit with like a lot of different genres. And I just would have been interested to see it. I mean, I don't know, and this is also like, that's why, like, I I don't criticize Kathleen Kennedy because Kathleen Kennedy's history in Hollywood. She's worked with veteran A-listers like Steven Spielberg and a bunch of classic directors over the years. So she knows what she's doing in terms of talent. But I feel like it's really the Disney infrastructure that's like kind of getting in the way of a lot of these making good decisions. And I mean, hopefully they learn. I don't know if you saw on Variety today. This was in Variety 4 hours ago. Star Wars fan flies plane over Disney Studios with "Save the Hunt for Ben Solo" banner. So the fans are animated for what this movie could potentially be, but I just wish Disney would get their heads out of their ASSs and start making good decisions.
Yeah, I mean, you said a lot of things there, and I agree with all of them. But something else that we should give credit to Steven Soderbergh, one of the most resourceful directors, right? That's something that I believe Adam Driver also pointed out, is that they weren't going to ask for the moon. Like they would have asked for a moderate budget. They wouldn't ask for like a Rise of Skywalker budget or a Last Jedi budget. They were going to ask for a pretty, middle of the road Star Wars budget. Because Steven Soderbergh he's known for that. He's known for being really resourceful, and he can work with what he's got. And the fact that he's one of the guys who wants to do it on such a big IP, like you said, someone who really hasn't dabbled into IP, and he now wants to dabble in IP, specifically with this character and in this timeline, should show you what it could be. That within itself is good enough. And then the reasoning given for it, to me, the reasoning was just them being like, we got to make up a reason. Because that Steven Soderbergh and Adam Driver are going to answer your question as far as like, well, how's he alive? Like, we'll tell you, bro. Like, read the script. Like, that's what the script says.
Right.
Like, that's literally what it's about. So, or whatever alive you interpret. A lot of people have interpreted it as like alive in the Force. Because we see that he reaches the other side in the Force in The Rise of Skywalker. So, well, I mean, how does Obi-Wan alive? How is he floating? How is he a blue ghost? Like, come on, Abide Iger, man. Like, you're clearly making stuff up as an excuse to not greenlight this movie. We all know. That's upsetting, to be honest. But also, like you said, man, the fact that fans are showing right now, in this moment, that they would love this. They would take this over projects that have already been announced. Like, how many tweets have you seen saying like, I'll take this over Mando and Grogu and Starfighter. I'll take this over anything that that Disney has greenlight so far. Because again, the talent attached to it, but also again, because people like this character. They like this character and they want to see what could be done with him in a separate movie. I think it's a really disappointing reaction from an audience that would have been there, and they're thinking that they wouldn't have been there because of this sequel trilogy hate is like not there. Like, that's not real, man. You got to realize what is real and what isn't. And this idea of like what you see on Twitter is real life is not always the case. And I think that's frustrating that Star Wars is really, not Star Wars, that Disney is believing that. And again, this goes into everything we said last week about where Disney is headed as far as what they're doing with Star Wars and Mando and Grogu and Starfighter and all that. How does this add to that, RB3? How does this make you feel about the whole, like, what are they choosing to greenlight? What are they choosing not to greenlight kind of thing?
Yeah, it's the safe picks. It's always coming down to the safe picks. I mean, that's what, and even safe creative choices. I mean, I feel like, like you said, like I mentioned, there's storytelling, like there's movie, like Godfather 2, like a reference you could take for how to make that kind of story of somebody after they die. Again, Star Wars, like you said, Force Ghost. Not even to mention the own Star Wars lore of the Force Dyads, right? Like, and we got a little bit of that in the Acolyte, which, they kind of shelved that to the side. But, this, the whole idea of like, two sides of one Force, Kylo and Rey. I mean, it would have been a great opportunity to bring, Daisy Ridley Rey back into it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they could have had another trilogy that could have spun off of that. Yeah, it's just disappointing that we didn't see that we can't see what that would have came to, what that would have looked like.
Yeah, it is, man. And again, there seemed to be a lot of creativity there from Steven Soderbergh and from Adam Driver, because I'm sure that they wanted to bring that to Star Wars. They wanted to bring something unique and original and creative, and not letting them tap into that, to me, is just, incredibly disappointing. And I think it would have been a really interesting, cool movie in a way to continue on the sequel trilogy characters in a way that's really unique and something that really, again, brings audiences back into the story because of how unique it is, because we haven't really seen a movie like this before. I think that kind of special uniqueness of it could have hit really well with audiences, which again is incredibly disappointing. But again, RB3, now that I said all this, is never say never, is this could this still happen?
I think the fact, there's a few of these, right? Like that we're going to talk about today. There's the David Fincher one that, there was also reported to. And I had to actually put up a whole list of all of the announced and, eventually canceled Star Wars movies that came through. We could just run through that real quick too. Honestly, though, I actually do think that this one is kind of slightly the most realistic of like maybe potentially happening, just in the fact of, like you said, the Kylo fan base goes hard. I mean, they go hard, fam, and there's a lot of Halloween costumes that are Kylo guys, the cross-bladed lightsaber, the jagged one is very popular. I could see it. I could see the fandom, really turning up for that. And just again, Adam Driver, Oscar-nominated actor, Steven Soderbergh, Oscar-winning director. Like, I feel like they saw what the prestige of talent that Andor had and how that led to the success at the Emmys and also eventually led to a lot of rating success. Maybe they'll see that same formula for this movie. I don't know, hopefully. But yeah, out of that, I mean, that's probably the one that feels maybe it's like a 25 to 30% chance of maybe might come back one day. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny because again, Star Wars has notorious for doing this where they want to do something, they hear about something and they're like, we'll do it, but they always do it like a little too late. And they always change it up a bit too. That's what happened with Obi-Wan. Because Obi-Wan's supposed to happen like forever ago. Like that movie's been talked about since forever. And then they changed it to a series and all that, and the creators changed and the ideas changed behind it. And eventually that got made. It got made a little bit too late, in my opinion. But yeah, I definitely feel like never say never is true, because with a talent like Adam Driver, who's someone who's still, regarded as one of the best actors we have today, is something that you just, in my opinion, you just can't pass up on, especially now that people know about it and that he's talking about it. The fact that he's talking about it makes it seem like it's more and more likely, because he wants people to know and he wants people to, do stuff like they did, like you said, fly a plane and try to save this movie, because he still believes in it somehow. So if he still believes in it and then Soderbergh is still down, which I think he is, because that guy makes movies like ridiculous amounts of movies, then I'd be down, man. And I feel like maybe Disney might backtrack and be like, oops, we're sorry. We'll do it now. So
yeah,
we'll see, man.
Yeah, that one I feel like is definitely a possibility. Going to the other one that kind of came out, shout out to Jeff Snyder, who, the homie sometimes. At least he shouts me out. I can't, he shouts me out for happy birthday. So I got to show love to my man sometimes. But yeah, he reported also, along with the Adam Driver news. Oh, Adam Driver said that himself. So that was, already out. But in his newsletter, he also reported that David Fincher had a pitch that he came in with Star Wars, and that didn't go through either. There aren't many details about that one. According to comicbookmovie.com, it was another story set after episode 9 that would have focused on an unnamed character from Rise of Skywalker. When I think of that, part of me makes me think of, first thing that comes to my mind was Matt Smith, who was originally cast in Rise of Skywalker. And, they had cut him out of the film completely. Part of me kind of thinks maybe that was a whole subplot or a whole storyline that might have led to something that, they had and an idea that they had. And maybe that's something that might have interest to David Fincher. I don't know. Of course, David Fincher worked with Kathleen Kennedy, or she actually worked on Star Wars way back in the day as like one of his first jobs on Return of the Jedi. He has a good relationship with Kathleen Kennedy. They worked together on Curious Case of Benjamin Button. So You know, like it would have made sense, but you know, it seems like according to Jeff Snyder's report, the main difference there was Final Cut. You know, David Fincher gonna want Final Cut, and Disney gonna say absolutely no way to that. You know, Lucasfilm gonna say absolutely no way to that. So yeah, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely disappointing. Obviously, shout out Fincher. He's obviously a legend in his own right with the kind of films he makes. That's another really interesting one because I feel like the kind of movies he makes are so unique and they're so grounded and gritty. And I know that's an overused term, but that's exactly how to describe his movies. And making that in Star Wars would have been so fascinating and interesting. And I think that's another loss, obviously, for them because this is opportunities to work with more high level creators and less just like paycheck directors. Sean Levy, because I feel like that's kind of what they want now. So this would have been a great opportunity. But something that kind of this opens up for me, RB3, and maybe this is just me personally. I kept thinking about this because, again, when the news dropped, you know me, bro, sequel trilogy till I die. I kept thinking about the idea of like how many stuff we could have had greenlit if they didn't get cold feet. Like David Fincher wanted to do a character based on the sequel trilogy or the Rise of Skywalker is what Snyder said. So that shows me like, all right, there's one there. There's a Ben Solo one. There's a Rey one. Like, and I kept thinking about like, you could have had so many spin-offs off the sequel trilogy and you just chose not to do it because you're afraid of, again, internet trolls. Instead of being like, you know what? I could pitch a bajillion like sequel projects. And it doesn't all have to be live action, ginormous, big budget movies. Animated series, like for crying out loud, how many people have said this already? But a sequel based animated series would have been sick. That would have been dope. Make it like Rebels and make it even more grounded than Rebels if you want. Make it less kid friendly or something like that would have been really cool. I kept thinking about this because a book that just came out and people were talking about it. But Jana, look at Naomi Aki. She's a star, bro. Like she's a baller. Like give me a spinoff of her. I think that would have been a sick pitch. I would pitch that and I would watch that. Talk to me about how she rebelled against the stormtroopers. What exactly did she do? How did they see the light? What was the conflicts? What were the battles there? Because she said it happened at a battle. I forgot the name of the exact battle. I used to know it. To me, that's a good spinoff. You just mentioned it now, but the Knights of Ren. Like that's a spinoff right there. Boom, Knights of Ren. Just call it Knights of Ren. And you could dive into more of what these characters were meant to be and what they were supposed to be. There's so many ideas here that they could have taken from the sequel trilogy that I feel like it's disappointing that they didn't choose to do it because, again, there's great ideas and tidbits there. I thought a really cool one could have been the rise of the New Republic or maybe the fall of the New Republic with Hosnian Prime being destroyed after The Force Awakens. And we see a little bit of that with a character there who's on the planet as it's being destroyed. Like, what is that in between Force Awakens and Last Jedi timeline look like? Like, that would be cool. Or what is that in between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker timeline look like? Like, stuff like that. Like, you can make characters there. You can introduce new characters, brand new characters who have nothing to do with Rey and Kylo, and tell stories around that timeline about how they're afraid of the First Order, about how the First Order is echoing a lot of what the Empire wanted to do. All this stuff to me is fascinating, and they chose not to do it. So how do you feel about them kind of missing out on a lot of sequel trilogy spinoffs?
Yeah, that would have been fire. I mean, that would have been super. Even a movie with Oscar Isaac, Poe Dameron, like that's also that's another thing. I was like, what like if I'm David Fincher and I'm looking at, you know, the Rise of Skywalker and where every character kind of left off, like, of course, like, you know, Rey and Kylo, they kind of had a whole story. I probably wouldn't touch that if it was me. Finn seems like he's off with this, you know, new chick that is apparently Lando's granddaughter. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was interesting. I don't know if I picked that up too, but Poe Dameron kind of ends in a mysterious place because he is, I mean, he's obviously he fought with them, he flew with them, but he ends up staying with who's homegirl with the mask,
Zori Bliss.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's a whole new world that they kind of briefly touched on, but that seems kind of David Fincher-esque, right? Like this dark kind of underbelly kind of world and society. Poe Dameron living in that, you know, like I don't know, that might have been kind of tough.
Yeah, Poe's another great one because again, you have someone like an Oscar Isaac who is a star in his own right. I mean, he's in Frankenstein right now, so shout out to him. But a spin-off on him, I think that would have been cool. Like you said, him and Zori. What are the adventures of Poe and Zori? What are they up to? How did they get, society back on track from the fall of the First Order? That would have been cool. Again, there's so many ideas there. I actually would like a Finn-centered movie. I think that would have been cool. Or a Finn-centered story. It could be a series as well if they want to. But I think a movie would be cool.
I would like to see a Finn. I mean, call me biased. I would like to see a Finn-centered story from a black director. You know what I'm saying? Because they use that. They use that whole Black Jedi thing so much in that. That I'm like, dang man, y'all could have did me right. Oh wait, hold up, y'all. Whoa, hold up. We got people watching. Wait, hold up, doggone it. We got people watching the show. Shout out 9 people watching. Shout out y'all. Shout out Running Unchained. We gonna read y'all chats and shout out. Shout out. Oh man, how you pronounce his username, man? You see his
Gallegos.
Gallegos. There we go. Thanks, homie, for the super chat, man. Much appreciated. Here's a Chris 5 for you both. Cheers, fellas. Glad I'm able to catch you both live. Keep watching. Keep rocking. Thank y'all. Thank you. Ronan Unchained say about to watch Frankenstein right now. Take care. Thank you, brother. We'll just real quick responding to your things before we walk into the movie. Rangers, he said, I know you're talking about movies, but I want them to do a Rangers of the New Republic series. That could be fire. Or a movie starring Paul Sun Hoon Lee. I'm not familiar with that actor.
He's from Mandalorian. So it'd be the Mandalorian spinoff. Yeah. He's the pilot. Yeah. They were gonna make this show, yeah.
Oh, that's fire. Oh, that'd be fire, actually. That'd be hella fire.
So, yeah, that's Andres and Ronan, man. You remember Andres?
Yeah, I remember Andres. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yo, man, my mans. Yo, thanks, man. Yo, thank you.
Yeah, shout out Andres, bro.
Yo, Ronan, Andres. Yo, the OG First Cut Love, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm literally looking forward to seeing Frankenstein. I was thinking about seeing that tonight, honestly.
Yeah, me too. I might see it tomorrow night though. I mean, it's just being sick has been like taking me out, but I might see that tomorrow night for sure. Because I got to see it in theaters, bro. You know me, bro.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. I'm not gonna watch this at Netflix. No way, bro. No way. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunities there, man, that I really think that they could have really taken advantage of. That it is disappointing that they didn't. What is a director that you would want to see try to tackle that Finn story?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, the realistic answer I'll probably say is Rick Famuyiwa. He directed a few episodes of The Mandalorian, and of course, he directed a lot of black classics like The Woods and a bunch of black classics. I think he'll be the most obvious choice, and I think he'll be great. I know for a fact they've tried to offer Jordan Peele a Lando movie multiple times, and he's turned them down. So. I don't see a Jordan Peele. I actually wouldn't even want to really see a Jordan Peele Star Wars movie, if I'm being honest.
Me neither.
But yeah, I think like a Rick Famuyiwa, maybe a Ava DuVernay. Like I feel like she kind of has a little bit of an itching for big budget stuff every now and then. And I know she was in talks to the DC New Guys back in the day. I'm like, man, that. I would have been dope to see that.
It would have been awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm thinking those two, but I don't know what you thinking.
Give Homegirl a second chance, bro. Redeem yourself after Miss Marvel's. Nia DaCosta. Yeah. She's promoting her film Hedda right now with Tessa Thompson.
But look at what a great director can do when they're not in the studio system. Like, gosh dang, like y'all thought people, I'm not gonna say it, but the internet, y'all was wilding for the things y'all saying about her, calling her hack, y'all tripping. Like y'all Riot Marvels does way too hard on these things. Like,
yeah, that's we had a long conversation about it. That's one of the most like studio interview movies I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I can never put that on Nia DaCosta for sure. And she's about to ball out with Hedda, man, for sure, especially with Tessa Thompson there. Shout out Tessa Thompson. She barely does movies these days. Yeah. Last movie she's done was like Creed.
Right.
So the fact that she's coming out to do this one shows that she believes in it.
Well,
So,
she did have a cameo in the Marvels as well.
yeah,
The
yeah,
cameo.
yeah.
But yeah,
But
I think
again,
that's definitely. I mean, yeah, she cashing checks, but yeah, I think even the Hedda movie has like a 89 or a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. So it's literally the polar opposite. So
yeah, I think she would nail any kind of film. You mentioned a Lando movie. I know they were gonna make a Lando series, and this has been talked about forever. But I think at this point, I think it would be Donald Glover himself. I think it would have to be Donald and
Oh,
his
yeah.
creative team, because he has his own creative team, him and his brother, and his crew. So it would have to be them to do that Lando movie, or that Lando series. And I think he would. I think he would still want to do it, to be honest. And I think people would be down for it, because they love Lando and Solo. I think everyone loved Lando and Solo.
yeah, nah, facts. Yeah, if they're doing a Lando series, give it to Donald Glover 100%, 100%. A Lando movie. I don't know. I don't really love Donald Glover like movies, per se, or even his brother like Stephen Glover. If I could to pick one director for a fan spinoff movie, Hiro Maki. Yeah, I mean, again, back to Atlanta, back to Donald Glover. Yeah, I mean that he would actually kill. Like that would actually
He
be
would,
kinda
yeah.
killer. Yeah, that'd be
He
actually
would.
kind of killer. That'd be hard as hell.
Have you seen Station 11, bro?
I seen the first like 4 episodes of it.
Okay.
It was really good. I think I just fell off of it a little bit just because it was like pandemic and stuff. But yeah,
Okay.
no, I gotta go back and finish that one for sure.
That's a great show, man.
Yeah,
That's a great show. It's weird, but I really dug it. I really dug that show.
yeah,
But I think he would kill it for sure. Yeah, there's so many directors that have opportunities that could do some great stuff in Star Wars, which is why it's disappointing that they chose the most basic one of them all,
yeah.
to do the next one.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to get into. We have a lot of abandoned pitches, canceled movies that happened in the recent years that we've gotten news about. And of course, the one that made it through was the Sean Levy one, of course. But like, just as Ronan mentioned in the chat, Patty Jenkins with Rogue Squadron, that was one that was very close to getting made. And honestly, it's probably the one that got repurposed into the Sean Levy movie.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how it goes. I have a list here actually. Shout out to comicbook.com. And they have this list, but they don't even have like, I feel like they're even kind of missing a few. But yeah, they mentioned number 7, Patty Jenkins, Rogue Squadron. Number 6, Kevin Feige, Star Wars movie. I remember they announced that. I don't have no idea what that would have even looked like or been like.
Ooh,
But
I'm glad they passed on that one.
I don't know. I like Feige. Number 5, Ryan Johnson's Star Wars trilogy.
That's the worst L. I think that's one of the worst ones they missed out on.
Yeah, that would have been crazy. And then it would have been a good way to like introduce new characters, like be separate from the Skywalkers, but still like connected to the sequel. So you still could have got cameos. Yeah, that would have been fire, man. They missed out on that. Number 4 on here. Okay, they recent news, of course. The Hunt for Ben Solo. We just talked about that. Number 3, James Mangold's Boba Fett movie. Yeah, James Mangold's Boba Fett movie. And also, shout out to our man Josh Trank. He was low-key originally attached to that Boba Fett movie way back, and they was literally about to fly him out to announce it before he got caught up in that Fox situation. So, the James Mangold / Josh Trank Boba Fett movie, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. The Boba Fett one, obviously, I've talked about it before, but it got turned into The Mandalorian,
Right.
repurposed into The Mandalorian, because that's kind of the idea that they had with it. And obviously the Boba Fett show, too.
Yeah, the Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, so, yeah, you already know what that was. Number 2, Guillermo del Toro's Jabba the Hutt movie. I feel like Guillermo del Toro has the most, like, canceled and uncanceled movies in Hollywood history, potentially. But
Yeah, you know
was-
why though? I forgot what article it was, and I forget which movie he was pitching. But when they were saying that he wanted to make this movie, and I forgot what it was, but he was like asking for like $250 million or something like that.
Oh, oh yeah, I think it was Pacific Rim too. Yeah,
It might have been Pacific Rim too. Yeah.
yeah.
And I was like, bro, just give him the money, bro. Just give him the money. Just do it. This guy has ideas after ideas, and he kills it. He kills it, bro.
Nah, facts. Ain't no lies. He does. He is a killer.
And he uses every inch of that money. You can't say he doesn't.
Nah, facts. You see it. You see it.
You see it, yeah.
The cool thing about the Boba Fett movie is that it would have been written by David S. Goyer, who of course wrote Man of Steel and
Batman Begins.
Yeah, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and all these things. Yeah, so that would have been cool. And then number one, of course, this is one that people have been talking about for like literally decades. The Star Wars Underworld TV show that was supposed to go to HBO Max or HBO, not HBO, like HBO back in like 2005. But yeah, this is pre the days of like, you know, Game of Thrones or like, you know, these super expensive, like we spend 30, 40 million an episode. This would have been that, but you know, you had a hard time convincing TV studios to do that back in the day. So yeah, that was George Lucas' thing. I don't know if you had any pitches that you kind of remember or things that got canceled that you can remember off the top of your head, bro, or
Oh, that were like directors?
or I mean, just anything that like they had announced, because I feel like they only listed 7.
The Taika Waititi one's a big one.
Oh, yeah.
That hasn't been.
Yeah.
They said they're still doing it. I don't know if they are, but that's what they said. The Taika Waititi one's the biggest one for sure. And then obviously Colin Trevorrow, that whole situation that happened was kind of funny. Yeah, that was wild. But yeah, man, there's just I don't know. To me, you have to sort of believe a little bit harder and trust the creators and the pitches a little bit more, and stop being the biggest word for me. The biggest word of this whole episode is stop being afraid. Afraid of the trolls, afraid of reactions, afraid of what people are going to say and start to question, afraid of the story not being connected to this and connected to that. Like, who cares? Let creators cook. Let the directors cook and make what they want to make. I feel like anytime you see the best IP stories, that's what it is. I don't think we've ever said as fans, my favorite movie is the most studio interfered movie of all time. Like, we don't like studio. We like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Like, that movie is just like Sam Raimi cooking.
Sam Raimi, yeah.
Yeah, that's him cooking. That's him just cooking. Black Panther, Ryan Coogler, that's him cooking. Like, our favorite IP stories and our favorite IP movies have been directors cooking. Denny. Like, I know people don't think Dune is as popular as, you know, these other IPs, but Dune, that's just him cooking.
Yeah.
That's an aura farming, bro.
Yeah,
the first movie is just aura farming. Like, that's him just being like, this is what I can do. And then in part 2, I'll show you even more. And they give him the money and they let him do it. And I think that's what studios need to start doing and start realizing. And I think the studios that they have done it have seen the benefits of it. I mean, whether it's Oscar nominations or whether it's, you know, huge returns at the box office with something like, if you want to say original, with something like Sinners. But with any project, man, I feel like if you want to trust creators even more, that's when you get quality projects. And that should work in Star Wars. As precious and as sacred as Star Wars is, you should let people play a little more in the sandbox.
Yeah, nah, facts. They gotta be, they gotta let them cook. They gotta let the freedom reign. And yeah, I mean, if they, like you mentioned, Black Panther, Ryan Coogler, like that's the perfect example. That's also what Joseph Weeks said. Like, he would love to see a Coogler Star Wars, maybe a Coogler Finn movie. That would go hard. That would go stupid hard. Man, I also he said John Rokas Star Wars. I don't know what that means. And then Ronan said, get the team behind Shogun to do a Star Wars project. I mess with that as well. In fact, do a whole Star Wars project like in a completely different language. Like, that would be kind of crazy, right? But not a made up language, like the, you know, an English language, or not English. Okay, an Earth language. Yeah, maybe do a whole Star Wars film in Japanese, or do a whole Star Wars film in, like, you know, Spanish. I mean, that would be kind of interesting, right? Like,
give Star Wars to what's his name? Park Chan-wook
Oh,
and make it
oh,
Korean
oh,
and just let him cook, bro.
oh.
Uh,
Wait,
that's what it is right there, right? I just made
right.
it. I just pitched it.
There you go. There you go. Oh, oh, get Bong Joon-ho directing a Star Wars movie.
Yep. Yep. Did you see Decision to Leave, man?
Oh yeah, Decisions to Leave. Oh, I love Decisions to Leave. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because I think I put in my top five that year. I forget.
yeah, that was
When we did
fire.
our video. But give him a Star Wars movie, bro. Give him a Star Wars movie. Just let him cook, bro. And make it in Korean. Make it with Korean actors, Korean cast, and I think that'd be cool. I think that's a really cool idea that you came up with, man.
Yeah, Park. He literally has another one that just came
Came
out
out this year, right?
this year, and that's like
Yeah.
super highly
It
acclaimed.
hasn't come out yet, but it's coming out, right?
Yeah, it hasn't come out yet, but I think it's like
Forget
90
what it's
some
called.
percent
Yeah.
on Rotten Tomatoes, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's really
No
dope.
other choice.
No other choice. No other choice.
Yeah. That's coming out. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it looks crazy. That trailer looks insane. Like it looks crazy. Every time, bro, that guy's always gonna go hard. It's
yeah,
so freaking hard. That's a great idea. Yeah, I just feel like people like art and the people who make the art, the artists want to make it on this canvas. And when you limit the canvas, when you start to say this section is mine, this section is mine, this section is yours, you really start to muddle what it can be and what the potential can be. And I think the best movies that we've seen in our lifetime, the best movies that we've seen this year and these past few years have been creators creating with their own mindset and their own vision and not IPing hard. Like look at Tron Ares for crying out loud. Like my God. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't matter if you have $300 million and make it look awesome. If the story and the creator and the artist isn't there and the art isn't there, then no one's gonna give a crap, bro. No IP can save studios. It's all about the artist,
yeah.
even if the IP is bigger than the artist.
If you're gonna, especially if you're gonna just hack the movie to pieces to make sure it's under 2 hours, like Jesus, like
Yeah,
that's the most
bro.
hacked together movie I've ever. One of the most hacked together movies. Like I have no faith in and what Disney's doing.
I hate that, bro. I really, I don't know, man. I just know that Starfighter is going to be run through filters, like the test audience filter, like 20 different filters, bro.
Yeah,
It's going to be hacked so bad. And it's going to be one of those movies, which again, I'm kind of losing my mind, bro. As an editor, I don't know how you handle it. I'm not even an editor. And I'm looking at these movies and I'm like, oh my God, I can't follow. Like, who taught these people how to edit, bro? It's like edited through like some AI like algorithm for like don't lose, like always maintain focus and never get bored or something like that. Where there's stuff. I don't know, bro. They're testing this on people like, what is that, Clockwork Orange type stuff, bro. They
Yeah,
have them
no.
like their eyes open.
literally,
No.
it's like they're just flashing. We're just gonna be flashing shots at you real quick, just
Just
to show you what it is. Yeah.
action scene, actions, like two lines of dialogue. Like, bro, like, let me watch a movie, bro. Trust me to like understand a movie. I don't know, man. I don't know. Especially after like one battle after another, I was like, damn, bro.
All right. Yeah,
It feels weird watching the movie.
yeah, no, you can watch it. You can watch a 2 hour. You can watch a 2+ hour movie and not get bored. Like, gosh,
Yeah.
like even me, like, and
Exactly.
I hate to say it. I hate to say it too, dog. Like, and you know, I love Avatar. You know, I love Avatar too. You know, like when they did the 1 week re-release of Avatar 2, like I was like, 3 hours. But then, like, I hate saying that because I was not this man 2 years ago. Like, I really wasn't. Like, but I think, you know, this whole, they trained us. Like, they broke, like, literally the studios have broken us down to be conditioned to, like, expect it to be shorter now. And I kind of hate that. Like, I want to go back to the days of, like, enjoying a 3 hour movie in peace, you know?
That's why for me, my biggest thing, and I always say that because I'm the same way, but I'm the same way at home because I struggle, to be honest, if I'm being real. This is me being real with the 5 people in the chat. I struggle with going out to see movies as much as I do. So I see a lot of movies at home And that's me at home. At home, I'm like, ooh, 235. I don't know if I'm gonna sit down and watch that right now. Or like, ooh, 225. I don't know. But that's why I try to really like see specifically those movies in theaters. Because I want to make sure and be forced to sit there. There's nothing I can do. I can't get up. I can't pause. I can't, make my meal while I watch the movie, or, some stuff that I actually sometimes do at home when I watch movies. I can't do it in a theater. So I have to sit there and watch it, which is why to me the theater experience is still so sacred, because you are forced to sit through all 3 hours of Avatar: Way of Water, or all 240 of One Battle After Another, or what I'm about to do maybe this weekend is I think it's 230 of Frankenstein. Yeah. So shout out to movies, man, that trust audiences and that really try to push audiences, because to me that's what makes movies, and not, editing rooms trying to make it 155 exactly. Because it's, mandatory rules of how to make IP movies nowadays. But any final thoughts, RB3, on any topics that we hit today?
Nah, I mean, I actually found a way better list on Rotten Tomatoes. Shout out Rotten Tomatoes. I would never expect that Rotten Tomatoes to have a better list. They actually have a much better list of council projects. The only one we didn't mention was, of course, mentioned before in the chat, the Rangers of the New Republic. That was one of the ones they mentioned in this one article as well. Also, one is from J.D. Dillard. I don't know if you remember director J.D. Dillard. Kind of, sort of indie-ish. He did that movie Slight back in the day, black director. He had a movie in development with Matt Owens, who was a writer on Luke Cage, to develop a Star Wars project. That would have been dope. That one is pretty much completely shelved. I think Dillard even confirmed himself that one's off the table. So, but yeah, that would have been cool to see as well too. And maybe that could have been another one, a cool fan spinoff as well with that brother. So
yeah, they were pretty like gung ho on him, especially in 2019, 2018, like Rise of Skywalker. As they were making Rise of Skywalker, I think he even has a voice cameo in Rise of Skywalker.
Really?
Yeah.
So they literally had him like locked in, like
like he was coming on set during Rise of Skywalker and stuff, and they were like, "Hey, you want to be a voice?" And yeah, they were like pretty locked in on him. So that's kind of sad that they just kind of let him go.
Yeah, interesting. Since then, he directed Devotion, starring Jonathan Majors. Amazing.
I don't know if I've seen that.
Yeah, that's with Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell. Geez. But yeah, nah, man. I mean, I don't know if you had any individual. I put a thing on here for our pitches. I don't know if you had any pitches.
I gave a couple of mine away already. That I think are just obvious. I think a Jana movie would be cool with Naomi Ackie. And then a Knights of Ren one would be cool. I think like a Hosnian Prime or like a New Republic, and then Rise of the First Order, or like First Order versus New Republic would be cool. Without Rey and Kylo, like a more political Andor-ish, kind of like a, like Luke and Han are doing like those missions, but then you have like the undercover guys during the sequel era. Like a Andor version of that, if that makes sense. Instead of the Rebellion era, it's the Resistance era. So those are like my pitches. And then an animated sequel trilogy. Animated sequel timeline series would be cool. So
yeah, that'd be fire. Mm-hmm. That'd be fire. Yeah, animated sequel series would be fire. I mean, man, I remember, shout out Christian Ruvacabra. I was just texting him today, from the Wenger Show. And back in the day, he had an amazing idea for like this Star Wars horror film, where it's just like inside of one ship, and, this Sith or somebody is just slashing through these, everybody inside the ship kind of thing. I don't know, I still could kind of see that. Like, I feel like that would kind of go crazy, Star Wars horror, I could kind of see, I would like to see, a comedy. Like, I would like to see a true comedy director, like, have, a Star Wars kind of thing, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, that couldn't work out.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
That would have been kind of a comedy, which is why they axed it.
Right. Yeah, I think a comedy for the Han Solo prequel might have not, that might have not meshed. But I think the movie they were going to make was going to be great, regardless.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I'm kind of thinking like, what other is there even comedy directors out there anymore? Like, I don't even know, you know? But yeah, a comedy or a horror film, or even I would love to see just a straight like Andor style political drama movie. You know what I'm saying? Like from like a Catherine Bigelow, or like, you know, like especially I'm thinking Catherine Bigelow because I just saw House of Dynamite, and that's a movie that's just like a bunch of people talking, but what they're talking about is big important, like they're talking about going to war, like going to nuke some, you know, bomb somebody's house type of thing. And can you imagine like the intense conversations on a Death Star before like you got to blow up a planet, and like maybe somebody's family is on there? Like, I don't know, I would just like to see like that kind of like psychological, you know, race against time political drama, like, but also just like in one setting, but on the background of like this big international or big intergalactic thing. So with like Catherine Bigelow, or like, you know, I don't know who else is like an amazing, like one of those kind of talky directors, you know, that something like that though would be fire to me.
Yeah, that'd be dope. I would like that a lot. I think that'd be a sick movie for sure. And it doesn't have to be huge budget too, which is cool.
Yeah.
Either way, guys, we appreciate a couple people in the chat who came in and joined in and helped us out.
I was gonna say I appreciate Ronan. He was talking about we were talking about the Council Guillermo del Toro's movies, the video game At the Mountains of Madness, that would have been fire. H.P. Lovecraft movie, that would have been fire from Guillermo del Toro. Joseph Weeks said, "Am I the only guy who likes Solo over Rogue One?" That's a hot take. Love Andor more though. Okay, so you got Andor over Solo over Rogue One. I can respect that. I do like Rogue One a lot. I don't know about you, bro. You know? Yeah,
that's I don't know, man. That might be closer for me than you might think. I think it might be close because I really like Solo.
Yeah, I'm with that. I mean, Solo is fire. Joseph Weeks also said, outside the box, Celine's song for a Star Wars movie. Star Wars list stars adaptation. Okay, I don't know what the last part of that meant. Or for a Star Wars list stars adaptation. I mean, look, I'll see Celine's song Star Wars, and I'll see a Celine song anything, you know. I don't really know how her tone would fit with Star Wars, but yeah. And he also said Oppenheimer wins Best Picture. Hollywood decides to make movies shorter. Yeah, that's crazy. And Judd Apatow on Star Wars, no, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. But now I would Celine's song though, a rom-com in Star Wars. Maybe or like a romance film in general, like that would be kind of cool. Like that would be just a straight romance in the background of like this imperial takeover happening. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's actually a good pitch. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, like they're you know, stormtroopers are ripping, you know, them out their home, but meanwhile they're trying to like live their like little peaceful life with their dog and ish, and then they get separated and she got to find them. Like, I don't know, that could be kind of cool, you know, romance drama in space.
Yeah, no, I think that would work out. I think that'd be dope. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and for joining the chat and for joining in Sabacc the Block today. RB3, where can everyone find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Director RB3.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Squad Leader Ace. We're going to be here every week, so make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let us know in the comments down below, what is a Star Wars project that you would have loved to have seen, or what is a project in Star Wars that you would like to see in the future. All that good stuff in the comments down below. Either way, guys, for Sabacc the Block, we're going to be peacing out, so peace. Deuces.